Hello guys, this is Pavel Skorop from Laravel Daily Team with you, and for a long time I haven't been doing any live coding on this YouTube channel. There were quite a few live coding videos previously, like a year ago, half a year ago, and they were pretty popular. And now I'm back, I have more time to spend, and together we will create a new project with real description, real specification, which is right in front of you. That's a real project from Upwork. I didn't do that, I didn't pitch for that, but it was a small, interesting project called Codename Forest View. But basically, it's a property management. Property flat management between landlords and tenants. So, for example, tenants could register and upload their files, like, for example, upload some issues or notes or documents, something like that. So that's a pretty simple system, which I will try to live code, partly generate by our quick admin panel. And I will cut some video parts to make the video a little smaller so it wouldn't take like hours. I hope it will take under an hour, but let's dive in. So you shouldn't read too much of that. I will rephrase that for you. Basically, there are admins, and we will change specification a little. So there are basically three types of users in the system. So admins, tenants, and landlords. So admin will create landlords, landlord will create their properties and invite tenants, and then tenants will log in and manage their information. And there will be also private messaging between any of landlords or tenants. And there are some details here, but I don't want to dive too deep for now. You can take a brief look here. The first thing I want to do here is to transform that into some kind of database or structure, which is much clearer than this list. So I prepared that in Sublime. So these are the entities which we will work with. So users, properties, documents, notes, and internal messages. Basically, that's it. We just need to generate or create that database, and then we will manipulate that database with various functionality. Which is this. That's the plan. What we will do here is I will use my quick admin panel to generate main panel and the database. Then we will take care of property management, tenants, and then one by one some additional features like email notifications and dashboards. Dashboard widgets which are not directly database related. So let's dive in. Let's go into my quick admin panel, and I will create a project called Landlords, for example. Codename Landlords. I don't want to take that Forest View because maybe it's a branded name. I don't know. So we will call it Landlords, and after we create everything, then I will upload that to GitHub. Under some name, probably it will be Landlords, Laravel something. So yeah, that's generated. So we have fresh admin panel with just user management, which we would need to customize. Actually, let's start with that. So by default, we have role administrator and simple user. Let's create more users, more roles. We will rename simple user into landlord and give the permission to manage users for now. We will edit all those permissions a little later. Then the third role will be tenant and permission. For now, let's put the same permission, then we will change that. Right, next thing, we create menus. So by default, we have permissions, roles, and users, and then next thing we need properties. Let's go back to our database kind of schema. And for properties, we need some fields. Right, CRUD menu item, properties. This is default, everything in default. So every property will have a name, which will be text field, required, not null. Finish close, then address, that could be the same text field, address optional, also required, then maybe some photo, for example, photo, which will be optional, photo. Right. Files. Yeah. And then we have permissions. So who can create properties? Not tenants and landlords and administrators. So yeah, that's it. We save CRUD. There we go. The files have been generated, and we see menu item called properties here on the left. Next thing, we need property documents. So property documents, again, we go to menus, create menu items. Actually, let's call it just documents. Documents, and then fields will be property, belongs to relationship to property. Everything will be automatically generated with property ID. Validation is optional. No, actually it is required. Then relationship is property, and we need property name. That's it. Then we need the file, document actually, document, which is required also. And then name, let's give it a name. Name, which would be optional. That's it, I guess. Alright, again, who can upload files? Probably everyone, so let's leave it as this. So we save CRUD again. There we go, another menu item called documents. Then what else we have? Notes, right? So create CRUD menu item called notes. Notes, parent menu item no. And we have belongs to relationship to the same property. That's required. Property, that's it. And then who will actually upload that node, which is again belongs to relationship to user. Required and user name. Actually, we need to modify the documents as well, which will be also related to user. But for the node, will be just text area with node text required, and we don't need CT editor here. Finish. Anyone can give nodes, so we don't change any permissions, and we create a CRUD called nodes. Right, so nodes CRUD is created, but as I told you, we need to edit documents and add user here too. I forgot about it. So belongs to relationship, user, required, and relationship to users. Name, and we'll probably drag it to here. And we save CRUD. Right, so with that, we probably have the main database schema. We only need messages, right? So for messages, we will use one of the modules of admin panel. Let's take a look at what modules we have to choose from. We will need internal messages, so that's what it's called. It's basically a mini inbox, mini kind of messages. So this is how it works. So something like that. It will be on downloaded version 2, so you can add new message and pick a recipient. So this will be used, and then what else do we need from the modules? Dashboard widgets we need the widgets. Actually, we will install it for now, but we will use it a little later. Dashboard widgets, report generator now, content management now, registration is a little different. No, we don't need anything. We could use, of course, payments like Stripe or languages, but for simplicity, we won't do that for this project. So we have our menus prepared. Actually, let's add some dashboard widgets. Dashboard widgets is basically a table which will appear on the dashboard after you log in, and what we need here is basically documents, I guess. Thinking about it, maybe we don't even need that module, to be honest. We will create the dashboard by hand without generating it. So I guess let's uninstall dashboard widgets. I'm doing it in live mode, so sorry. I mean, I probably wasted 30 seconds of your time by thinking aloud, but that's the beauty of live coding. You will see exactly how I think, what are my mistakes, so I don't edit anything. So that's pretty close to real life. Right, and now we are ready to download our admin panel and start coding actually after download. So I will download the panel now, we'll install it. That's a little description, but I will spare the time for you. I will install it and show the actual result, how it looks after download. Right, I have downloaded the project and then run composer install, artisan migrate, and here you see the commands. That's the results of composer install, then artisan key generate and migrate with seeds, and then we have this. I use Homestead for my local development, and here's my domain name landlords.test, which I can log into as admin.com, and default password is password. So here we have the same things that we've generated online: properties, documents, notes, and messages. So this is the first step. That's how much we can actually pre-generate in 10 minutes or so with help of Quick Admin Panel. So that saves at least a few hours or a day of work. And from here we will code, we will open PHP Storm, and menu by menu, item by item, we will code some more functionality. So next step in our video is registering the landlords. I thought that they could register themselves. For that we need to have register functionality here. And in default Quick Admin Panel it's not present, but I've built it with the help of Quick Admin Panel's module. I went back and did it for you to save your time. There's a module called registration, and then you can have the setting which is the default role of the user. So what it generates for us is register blade, register web route, these two things, and then in register controller it adds this. So attaching the role to the newly created user. So how it works is register as landlord. I've changed the text in the config as well. So I add my email here. And I'm going to the dashboard where I don't have any permissions yet. I have only messages where I can message admin probably. Yep, message admin and some testing user and myself actually. And change the password, that's it. Now we can go and create more permissions for that landlord. I'm switching to another browser to log in as administrator. Yep, and in user management roles, we can add more permissions to the landlords. So for role landlord, we're editing the role, and we will add everything related to properties. For some reason, Firefox is much slower than Chrome. No idea why. Property access. Every CRUD has 5 permissions. So access the menu item, then create, edit, view, and delete. Pretty self-explanatory. Yep, so have all those 5. Probably I will need to re-log in. Yep, have those, so I have to re-log in as landlord. So we log in here with our new user and we should see properties. So now landlords can create properties. For example, let's add my new flat. Address is whatever, New York. And photo is optional. So we save the properties. And now the next phase, let's invite tenants into the system. So we will literally invite our tenants to the system. Actually, landlords will do that. So for every property, they will be able to create tenants. Let's add the new menu item here called tenants, and then fill it in with a CRUD manually. So there is a file called sidebar, And in sidebar, we should have properties here, right? So if I can access property, I can also access tenant management from my properties. So properties, and let's add tenants. This should be level. Right, so tenants, admin tenants here, and this will be translations, right? Okay, we will take care of translations a little later. So that's the menu item. Now routes. Permissions, properties, yeah, here it is. So properties will probably have a little less than here, so we want these properties, admin, tenants. And now let's create a controller. We will probably copy controller from existing one. So for example, properties controller, let's save as tenants controller and open it like this. For now, let's delete everything that is unnecessary here. Properties. Actually, let's delete all of that. It will be tenants index, and then will be this. Create store. Let's leave it with this. Destroy. So yeah, for now let's stick to this. Create new tenant. We don't need kind of flows here. Okay, anyway, admin tenants index. So let's copy the folder tenants into folder properties into folder tenants. Admin properties, duplicate tenants. Tenants index will show all the tenants for our properties. Add new. This part we don't need. Tenants name. Tenants email. Actually fields. That's it. Right. Basically what I'm doing is a lot of replacing here and there. Tenant, actually we don't even need that. Tenant name, actually a tenant will be a user in our system. Name, email. I'll be able to delete that. Something like this. So restore now. Actually, this part. Should be good. And we don't need this one. So tenants index is good. The route is good. Let's refresh the page and see, do we have our menu item here? It should be called tenants. Tenants title, yep, we don't have translations here. So global PHP. Let's find the properties and copy it into tenants. Tenants. Yes. Okay, now we have our menu item called tenants. We click it and we probably will get an error of tenants not found. Yep, exactly. So if I go to tenants, for now it's empty. So in next step we will create a tenant relationship, user relationship to property, and filter the tenants by landlord. So stay tuned.